Hi, I'm Deb. Welcome to my channel. So today, let me first tell you that I'm starting this new channel. I'm renovating an 85-year-old farmhouse that's butt ugly. I've done a lot of refurbishings at various other homes. I repurpose old wood furniture, make it into something grand. There isn't too many things I won't try. I don't have any special skills. I've never had any training. This is just what I do. I'm like, oh, I can do that. Let's try it. But first of all, I have to preface that I cuss a lot. And my sister ran me this shirt that I absolutely adore. And so this is kind of the basis for my channel. So if cussing offends you, I'm sorry, but that's who I am. So anyway, it says, I won't quit, but I will cuss the whole time. And that's usually when I'm trying new things. Because it's like, okay, this is not as easy as I thought it was going to be, or, oh, this is a bunch of crap. So anyway, so today I probably won't cuss much because I've done this a whole bunch of times. We're going to talk about chalk paint. It is the most grand product that ever came out. You can go buy it at any paint store. They charge amazing prices for it. I mean, like outlandish prices for it. You can make it yourself with 3 products that you probably, well, no, you won't have them in your home. Never mind. You might have the water. Anyway, so there are several recipes. This is the one I found to be the easiest. I'm going to give you the recipe with the amounts, but I don't even measure. So I'm just going to throw it in there and give you the recipe, and you can play with it until you feel comfortable with it, and then you'll just throw it all together too. So anyway, what you need first is a bowl. Since I'm painting, I have these little containers, which I really wouldn't recommend if you want to use the paint again. And that's another thing they say, oh, you can't use this paint again, it's one time. So anyway, I'm going to use this so you can see what I'm doing. You can use any color of paint. It does not have to be expensive paint. You can buy the cheapest paint available. I am going to use, I'm not going to tell you the brand because I'm YouTube, I'm not sure if I can do that. I'm learning as I go along here. So anyway, the recipe consists of 1 cup of paint, any color. It can be any sheen as well, from flat to eggshell to semi-gloss. I usually use flat or eggshell or satin at the most. But again, it doesn't matter. Any color of paint, it's grand. So you'll need a cup of that. You'll need 1/3 of cool water. And you'll see why I say cool water in a minute. And then the thing that makes it chalky, plaster of Paris. You can buy this whole quart, like comes in like a milk carton, at Home Depot for like $8. I tend to buy the paint. I very seldom buy bigger than a quart, and today we're using a sample that I bought from Home Depot, and courtesy of my refrigerator. Okay, so normally you're going to do a cup of paint, 1/3 cup of cool water, and 1/3 cup of plaster Paris. Now, these are my good measuring cups, so I'm not putting paint and crap in them today. I would recommend going to Dollar General, Dollar Tree, buying some cheap plastic cups, measuring cups, and they're great. So anyway, that's why I'm not going to measure today. I'm just going to pour things together. But that's what you need. 1 cup paint, 1/3 cool water, 1/3 plaster Paris. You also need something to stir it with. I found popsicle sticks work the best, or as they like to call them, craft sticks. So anyway, the craft sticks you can buy for like 40 of them for $1 at Dollar General. Chunk it when you're done. And then normally I would make the chalk paint in these cute little Rubbermaid or Tupperware containers, because that way it has a lid and you can use it again. And I have no idea. Here it is. You can take it off and you can use it again. I have used them repeatedly. You may need to add a little bit more water to kind of reconstitute the paint and get it a little thinner again. And again, this paint, you can make it as thick or as thin as you like it. The good thing about chalk paint is if you're applying it to wood especially, you don't have to pre-sand. Unless you got like some horrible gouge in it, and then you might want to spackle it with some wood putty or sand it down just a little bit. But if it's just normal wear and tear, you really don't have to sand it. It does go on with a very flat finish due to the plaster of Paris, so that's why I say it doesn't really matter on the sheen. But then you can get some paste wax in the paint department, and you just buff it on, and you get a nice little shine to it, and it's beautiful stuff. I recently painted a brass ceiling fan, and I really didn't care for it. I was trying to update it. And normally when you paint metal, you obviously have to rough it up a little bit for the paint to stick. Now, granted, if I was using this lamp down at street level, at body level, I probably wouldn't recommend putting the paint directly onto the unscruffed up metal, because it is going to probably flake off with time. But when it's on a ceiling fan, who's going to be up there messing with it? It's going to stick, and it's going to look great, and little to no work. So anyway, so first of all, you're going to measure a third of a cup of water. I'll measure the water, just so you'll kind of see what I'm doing. So you have a third of a cup of water. There you go. The reason you use the cool water is because the plaster of Paris is like when you make gravy and you put the flour into the grease. If you use, it gets clumpy, and then it's harder to mix up. So I'm just going to pour some of this in there. Yeah, that looks about like a third cup. And then you're going to stir it up. And, you just try to get the bigger lumps out of it. Okay. Looks like gravy. Anyway, okay, so there you go. So now I have the paint. I just bought this today, so I don't really have to shake it up, but I'm going to shake it up. If it's old paint you have around the house, it works great. So anyway, this is it's called Blue Fjord, Fjord. So that's like, what, Swedish? Okay, so it's it matches my new couch. It's a nice indigo blue is really what it is. And I'm bringing it into my dining room so that to paint the ironing board, so it'll kind of pull in from the living room. So anyway, so I would measure 1 cup. This probably is not quite 1 cup. It's it's 7.12 ounces. So normally you would use the whole thing. So let's go ahead. We're just going to pour it in now. And these, like I said, the samples work great because they're like $4 at Home Depot. So you can make this buttload of paint. It's going to paint a 6-drawer dresser for, next to nothing. This plaster of Paris is going to last you for quite a while. So anyway, so you're just going to mix that in there like that. And it mixes so nice. It goes on really nice. You'll probably, need a couple coats, but it dries really fast. You don't need to buy expensive brushes. I'm telling you, this paint, once you try it, you just are probably never going to want to paint anything ever again. I'm debating painting my front door, the inside that faces into the living room, with making it chalk paint, because it will apply so nice and won't be all glumpy and runny and nasty. So anyway, if I do that, I'm going to do a video. So anyway, so here's your paint. So it makes it go a long ways. If you want it thicker, you can put a little bit more plaster of Paris in it. You want it thinner, put a little more water in it. Again, I eyeballed it, so it is what it is. One thing I will say that I learned from experience, because I tend to be a little bit of a perfectionist, when I first started repurposing furniture, I would make the painting just perfect. Like I paint every surface of every little square inch of the surface of the piece of furniture. And then once it dried, I would distress it. So it was like, it's kind of stupid, Deb. You're taking all this time to make sure everything's painted, and you're going to take sandpaper and rub part of it off. So you don't have to be real neat with it if you're going to distress the piece of furniture. Now, if you're wanting to paint, and have it look very nice, and you're not going to distress it, well, then yeah, paint every square inch of it. But you will love it. And again, if you want a sheen on it, then you get some hand wax, paste wax in the store. I'll come up with a couple brands for you because off the top of my head, I can't think of what I used to use. And you just rub it on there and buff it in, and you let it sit for whatever the can says, and then you just take a clean cotton cloth and buff it, and it just has this really, not a high gloss sheen, but just a nice finish, and you are going to absolutely love this. So anyway, that's the end of part 1. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back later with part 2, painting the ironing board.